Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Fifakill, as you know. Today what I have for you is a video I've been waiting to bring to you guys for a while, and that is how to aim. This is still being part of Nuke School because obviously being able to aim is a big part in being good at Call of Duty, and that's what I'm going to teach you hopefully to do today. This is part 1 of part 2. There's going to be 2 parts because there's way too many tips to put into one video, so make sure you guys come back tomorrow for the second part as well. But hopefully by the end of this you guys will be aiming like beasts and you'll just be completely godly, and then you'll be able to get more nukes, which is the whole idea of Nuke School. Has been getting some great response so far. People telling me they're getting nukes when they never could before, and that's what I like to hear. So today we're going to be running through a load of tips. They're not going to be in order of how important they are because that'd just be way too hard to rank. There's just going to be loads of tips and tricks thrown in everywhere, but just make sure you watch through all of them, and hopefully, you know, you'll be aiming much better by the end. What you're watching at the beginning here is just a couple montage clips kind of thing where I'm just going off with good aim just to demonstrate. But anyway, let's get right into these tips. Alright, so first up, we have warming up. Now, basically, I do this pretty much every day before I get on stream or whenever I play. I'll go into a game of bots, and I'll just, you know, play against the bots to warm up my aim. Now, this does sound like it's not improving aim in general, just getting warmed up, but it actually is. You're practicing, and every time that you play the game, your aim's getting better. But obviously, if you warm up, your aim's going to be on point, and then you're just going to be playing better as a whole. It also teaches you to aim better because the bots move in a really weird way compared to real players. Real players you can kind of predict, but the bots, they have a mind of their own. They just go anywhere. And also, I would try sniping as well. Whenever I play against bots, I snipe because 9 times out of 10, if you can snipe, then you can use a regular gun. It trains you to be really precise because there's only a single shot, so you're going to be just, you know, doing a lot better. And practice with a sniper against bots. At the beginning, you'll see I'm not doing great. That's when I first got on, missing a couple shots. It's a little bit embarrassing to, you know, put on YouTube, but, you know, I have to demonstrate so you guys know that it does really work. So you'll see me missing shots, and then after a couple minutes, you'll see me just absolutely going off, and that is what warming up can do for you. So let's get right into the second tip. Alright, so next up we have warming up movement. Now again, this is going to sound like it's nothing to do with aim, but everything is to do with aim pretty much. Now what this is basically, again, I'll warm up my aim by playing bots, and I'll also warm up my movement by playing free run. Now I suggest you guys do this. Free run's just a really good way of getting better at the game in general, but it can also help with aim a lot, because obviously this game is largely orientated around the movement system, and if you can master that, then you're going to be really good. And obviously if you warm up on both things, then your movement's going to be good, your aim's going to be good, and then you can combine them both together to make just a godly outcome. So you'll be able to aim, you'll be able to move, and also wall running also teaches you, you know, how to jump from a certain spot to another spot. And also there are other parts, of course, we have to aim. If you miss, you're going to be in big trouble, and it does give you a variety of weapons to use. For example, at the beginning you have a pistol, then you have a shotgun, there's snipers, there's all kind of things, but I would definitely suggest you practice and warm up by using free run. It's a really good way of doing things. I use it a ton, definitely helps me out, and it can make your aim a lot better. Now if I do both of these things when I go online, I'm going to have good aim, I'm going to be moving well, and then you can combine the two, and you're just going to have really much better aim. So try this every time before you get on, and after, you know, after a while, you're definitely going to see improvement, and you'll see immediate effects as well, because, you know, when you're getting on normally, you're going to be not warmed up, you're going to take a while, you're going to be playing bad, but if you warm up, then you're going to be good before you get on, you're going to be aiming well, then you can practice more, and just overall, in the long run and the short term, you're going to be doing much better, you're going to be aiming better, and warming up is definitely something I would suggest you guys do. Definitely good practice, even though it seems you like playing against bots, but it doesn't even matter. Play on recruit, play on whatever difficulty you want. It's still going to help you practice and get that aim better. I do it every time before I play, and you'll see in the first clip, you know, I was getting worse at the beginning, and then after a couple minutes I get a lot better. This, you know, I'm always good at wall running, and it pretty much came from practicing online and in free run. I do a lot of free run in my spare time. I find it really fun, and it can also help you get better. So let's get into the next tip. This point is going to be a little different. It's not something you can do in the game like all the others. It's actually something you can do in real life. Now, it might sound a little bit weird, but this is actually something that makes a massive difference. The size of the screen you're playing on. Now, I'm going to quickly tell you guys a little story. Back in AW, when I used to do Clan Wars, I would play half and half between a 27-inch screen and a 55-inch screen. I'd play on the 27 one, and I'd be a god. I wouldn't miss a single bullet. Everything would be great. And then I'd play on the 55-inch one, and I just couldn't hit shots. And it didn't make sense to me me at first until I made a little bit of sense to it myself. Now, if you think about it, on a 27-inch screen, everything's close together in terms of the HUD in-game. You got the radar at the left, you got your ammo in the bottom, you got your streaks, and you need to be looking at all these things very carefully if you want to be playing really good. Now, if you are, if it's a small screen, you don't have to look very far to look at the radar. I can look at it all at once, and that definitely helps my aim, because then I'm not going to have to look all the way back to the middle of the screen to, aim and shoot someone, because I'm already going to be there. It doesn't make a difference. But on a big screen, everything's going to be really spread out, and your eyes aren't used to this. They're going to be having to look everywhere, which is going to make your aim a little bit worse. It's also going to give you a headache having to look around all the time on the screen when you just need to be looking in one place mainly. So that is going to be a big struggle, especially with a game like Call of Duty, where you need to be paying attention to everything that's on your HUD, and then your aim's going to be worse. You're going to get a headache, so you can't play as long, and everything's just not going to go good. So definitely try and play on a smaller screen if you can, or at least find the ideal size for you. The way you do this is, you trial and error. You play on other people's screens if you got buddies with different size screens, or you just get a smaller screen and see if it works for you. That's probably the best way to do it. That's how I found mine. My ideal size is about 27 inches to play on. That's what the size monitor I play on, which does bring me into my next point. And my next point, again, a little bit different. It's basically the difference between a monitor and a TV. Now, you may not think there's a big difference, and there really isn't too much of a difference. However, it can mean the difference between winning a gunfight and losing. Now, monitors have a lot less, or not that much. Everything is pretty small. Obviously, it has to be like a small delay between what happens and what you see on screen. Otherwise, it just wouldn't be fair. However, there is a difference between a TV and a monitor. A monitor has a little bit quicker response time. It's like something like 3 milliseconds or something. I don't know. So it's definitely quicker, and obviously your aim's going to be better if you're shooting at someone who is where they actually are, as opposed to a little bit in front. You're going to be able to, aim to that person faster, because you're going to see them before they see you. And it doesn't seem like a big difference, but milliseconds difference can make all of it, because, if you see the person first, chances are you'll get the first bullet off, and then you'll kill them quicker. And that can mean the world in a gunfight, and it's definitely going to help you with your aiming as well if you're aiming at the person before they even look at you, and you're going to find yourself winning a lot more gunfights and doing a lot better. So I would try to get a monitor if I can. Obviously, that's not an option for everyone. It's not that big of a problem. It's just something that can help a little bit. I do play on a monitor now. I used to play on a TV, and I can definitely see a difference when I try and play on the TV now. So, it's not a necessity, but it definitely does help. Now, the next tip is about Scuffs, and if you guys don't know what this is, or just any custom controller in general, it's basically a button that's been modified to, do extra things. It's not cheating, you're allowed to do it, and pro players use them all the time, but basically, for example, a Scuff, that's probably the most popular and common one. It has extra buttons on the back, and just extra customizable things like that. Now, these buttons basically mean that you can jump and do all that kind of stuff without having to, move your thumb off the aiming button. If you think about this carefully, this can be extremely beneficial. If you have to, move your thumb onto the X if you're on PS4, or A if you're on the Xbox, then you can't be aiming while you're jumping. And jumping being the most important thing in this game and the movement system in general, this is going to be a problem. And if you're jumping from wall to wall like I do on wall runs, you're going to want to be able to aim so you can, get direction and find out where you're going. You'll be able to move around the map more, and you'll be able to aim better. Now, jump shotting is the biggest thing in this game, obviously, and you're not going to be able to jump and shoot someone if you can't aim while you're jumping. So that's going to be a problem. So having something like a Scuff where you can jump and look at the same time is extremely beneficial, and will definitely help your aim while you're jumping. And that's basically the end game. That's what you're trying to aim for, is to be able to jump and aim at the same time, or wall run at the same time as aiming at someone. Because if you can do that, it's a lot harder for someone to shoot you on the ground while you're jumping around and moving in the air than if you're on the ground, or if you're just walking along a wall. If you can jump around and still shoot them while you're jumping, it's going to be a big problem for them. So that's definitely something you want to be doing. There are other ways to get away with this, but I'm not going to run through settings or anything. I'll do that in part 2, so make sure you guys are there for that, and I'll show you how to do it without a Scuff. Now, next up we have Versatility, so back to stuff that you do yourself in the game. Now, this can mean many different things, and I'm just going to run through these ones right now. So basically, when you're running around, I'm trying to make you have better aim, but you don't want to be better with just one gun, like I said before. So, you know, versatility is a really good thing. While you're running around the map, I've said this before, but it's definitely a good way to improve your aim. Pick up guns that are on the floor and just, you know, get used to that idea of picking up random people's guns and being able to aim good with them. Because aiming with different guns is different for literally every weapon in the game. Aiming with a sniper is different, aiming with an assault rifle, just everything's different to each other. So get used to picking up guns and aiming with them, because if you are on a nuke streak, which is the whole idea of nuke school, I'm trying to get you guys nukes. If you're on a nuke streak, chances are at some point you're going to run out of ammo and have to pick up a gun. Yeah, you can run scavenger, but that's not going to save you every time. And if you can't use the gun that's on the floor, then that's going to be a problem. Obviously, if there is a gun that you like, that's great, but you can't count on that. You have to be able to be ready to pick up, you know, like a pistol or something and use that if you really have to. So versatility is definitely a good thing to be able to do. Also, being able to, you know, be able to jump on a wall and still shoot someone, instead of just being able to shoot someone while you're standing on the ground or jumping straight up. You want to be able to shoot people while you're flying around the sky, diagonally, straight up, anywhere you go. And just that versatility, the idea that you can, you know, do a wide range of different things well, is definitely going to help you. So make sure you do practice those things, picking up guns off the floor, jumping while you're shooting, and this will definitely help improve your aim. Finally, we have practice with guns. Now, this is going to sound a lot like versatility, but it's in fact very different. It's one thing to pick up guns off the floor and do that, but it's a whole other thing to have a different class entirely. Now, if you pick up a gun off the floor, you're not going to be using it very often. I guess you could, but you're much more likely to be better if you know, make a class yourself with a weird gun. Now, you might think that's a bit odd, putting on a gun that you know you're not good with, but if you practice with that gun, then you will be good with it. And then if you do pick up that one off the floor, then you can guarantee, you know in your head that you're good with that gun, and that you'll feel safer to go on a streak with it. So that's going to be a big thing, and you can't always guarantee that you're going to get every different gun in the game when you're just playing versatility and picking up random guns off the floor, because chances are everybody in the game is going to be using the same 5 weapons, the M8, the KM44, just all the guns like that, and you're not going to get good with the bad guns. And chances are at some point you will pick up a bad gun, whether it's someone going for dark matter or whatever, and you're going to need to be ready for that. So practice with weird guns. And also another big benefit from this is that if you can get good with a bad gun, then you're going to be good with a good gun as well. So, you know, get used to using bad weapons, and that'll help you play with good weapons. I do this loads myself, as you'll see in this gameplay here. This is called the 20 gun challenge. This is definitely the hardest challenge I've ever done in Call of Duty. I still haven't seen anybody else being able to complete it, so you guys should definitely try this out. I do it with 5 kills. You could do it with however many you wanted. You could do it with even 1 if it just means you practice with loads of different guns and get through it. But basically, I'm going to link this video in the description if you guys want to go check out what this challenge is. This will help you get better practicing with guns. You can do this, or you can just make loads of different classes. It's really up to you. But if you do everything I mentioned in this video, this will definitely help your aim get better. Part 2 will be out tomorrow, so make sure you guys come over for that, because that's going to have loads more good tips to help your aim get good. And hopefully, by the end of these 2 videos, your aim will be on point, and we can get you that much closer to getting your first nuke.